everybody. I'm so sorry I'm a little bit late. I had some internet problems which happened at the very last second. So we sort of dropped out a little bit and I had to shout my partner to try and get him to fix things. He didn't fix anything, just sort of turned it off and on again. That tended to work. I'm fairly convinced it's because of the heat. My laptop was making a very scary sound the other day, not today, but when it was really hot, my laptop made it was like growling. And it was obvious, it sounded like a helicopter all day. So I didn't touch it, didn't go near my laptop on that day. Luckily, I didn't need to do this on a super hot day. Otherwise, I probably would have done this from outside whilst sunbathing. That would have been nice, wouldn't it? So what am I doing? What's happening today? We're going to do some more collage today. If you've ever done any sessions with me before, well, you'll know I'm Rosie. If you've not met me before, I'm Rosie. And I'd like to do a lot of sort of paper crafts that involve recycled materials, things that are readily available to everybody, and techniques that anybody can do for any ability and still look beautiful. Now, a while back, I did a session based on old photographs, and I've got one of the examples here because it's of my grandma and I've got it up on my wall because I was so happy with it. So we did this a few months ago now, and this was sort of decorating old photos or copies of old photos. So this isn't an original, that's in my grandma's house. This is a sort of photograph of a photograph that I've then printed and then drawn on top of. So we had really good fun doodling on top of this, and this was great. And it was super easy. And I've done quite a few collagey bits since then. And the only reason this session has come about is because I went to a shop in Birmingham. It's called Red Brick Birmingham, and it's a sort of old warehouse that's been set up for lots of different artists to sell their wares. I sell my stuff in there. It's a really cool place, but there's quite a few people selling kind of antique stuff, vintage clothes, things like that. And what I found was somebody selling a big box of old photographs, and they were £4 for £1, which I thought was quite reasonable for old photographs because they're beautiful. And it just got me thinking that actually these are quite old photographs that have been discarded, that have been sort of removed from people's houses and just sort of left to basically for rubbish, are readily available if you know the right places to look, and they're really, really cheap and they make beautiful art. I'm a big fan of black and white photography with loads of bright colours drawn on top. So I thought we'd have a go at that today. So we're going to create something like this today. And it's just like a really easy way of making art using photography. And I thought there's no reason why you can't do this with photographs of loved ones or family. There's no reason you can't use your old photographs. There's no reason you can't use photographs from right now, from the present day. It's really, really easy to print off photographs in black and white on a normal inkjet printer. So I thought this would be a really fun thing to do. I've spoke about this before. I have mentioned this app before. If you wanted to use photographs that are of present day, so like your kids right now, there is an app that you can get called Free Prints, and it basically, you can send photographs to it and it sends you 45 real life physical photographs. I think it's 40 or 45 a month, and all you have to do is pay for the delivery, which is a few pounds. And hello Irene, welcome. It's a bit later today. I usually do mine in the morning, so it feels a bit strange because when I finish this, it's going to be like past lunchtime. So my body clock's all over the place. Anyway, so Free Prints is a really good app where you can send off photos from your phone and then they send them to you in physical form. And what I have done before is I have just usually on your smartphone, you can edit a photo and you can change the sort of colour quality of it. And usually there's an option to turn it black and white. So the easiest way around this, if you wanted to do photographs of people you know and not random strangers from Victorian times, is to get yourself the Free Prints app on your smartphone. Select a load of photos that you've edited to be black and white on your phone, send them off, and they'll send them you through the post in real life form. And because it's a really affordable way of getting loads of real life photos, you wouldn't feel so bad cutting them up and sticking them into one of these beautiful collages. However, the other way of doing this is how I did it, which was going to like an antique shop and finding old photographs. And I just really love this idea that we're bringing back to life photographs that have been discarded. I mean, who are these people? I love this lady. She's fabulous. I think her hair's amazing. I'm presuming this was taken in the 60s. I really love their glasses. So I just sort of went through, I sifted through this shoebox of photographs and just chose 8 photographs that I liked. I liked the quality of some of them. You could get yourself a selection. I like this guy, Office Man. A selection, but I think the main thing is that you want people. I think people work the best. So this lady is amazing. This is the one that I've used for this example here. And I just really love the quality of it. I really love the idea of bringing these back to life. So this is the easiest way of doing it. Get yourself some cheap old photos from an antique shop. You could cut the originals out if you're happy to. But I took photos of them and then printed them out on my printer so that I can reuse them over and over again. You don't have to do this if you don't have access to a printer. You can use the actual photos themselves if you're happy to. So let's move the photographs to one side and we're going to get started on something a bit like this. Now, the main thing I would say is that the easiest way around this, if you're not used to illustration and things like that, is to choose a colour palette. So that's what I've gone with for this. Choose a selection of colours you like. So I'm going to go with lots of pinks and reds. So I have got myself a selection of pink and red pens, and then I've maybe got one other colour that I like. So I've gone with pinks, reds, and then like maybe 1 or 2 blues, so that it's all kind of, it all fits in, it all moulds together quite nicely. So today, I think we're going to go with this little lady here, who I'm presuming, I mean, I think it's probably a communion. I mean, her dress is fabulous, but I just think, what beautiful girl. So we're going to cut her out. So we're going to cut her out first and foremost. We need the image to not have a background because we want to put loads of patterns around it. So whether you're using your real life photograph or a printout, the first thing to do is cut it out. The joy of taking a photograph of it and then printing them onto a piece of paper is that you can probably change the size of them to fit what you're doing. So I just thought this would be a really lovely way to make greetings cards or just wall art in general. The one we're going to do today is just going to be a piece of art that you can put on the wall. But there's no reason you can turn this into a card. Alison, Max Spielman have a deal. Hey, that's not bad. 360 prints. Wow, that is pretty good, isn't it? So I guess what's happened is there's these apps that have come out on the internet, so you can get these apps and get your prints sent to you. And then you've got your actual photography kind of companies who are having to sort of keep up with that. So they're now doing deals as well, which is really good to know, because if you're not used to using a smartphone for that sort of thing, then going to your sort of, your tried and tested photography places like Max Spielman, knowing that they do deals like that's really good to know. Oh, thank you very much. I shall bear that in mind. I nearly went to Max Spielman recently to get my passport photo done, and then I insisted on doing it myself because you can do it with your phone now. I ended up standing in front of my van to get the perfect white background. I should have just gone to Max Spielman. The moral of the story is just go and get a professional photographer to do your passport photo. Okay, so we've cut her out. So we've gone all the way around, nice and neatly. And again, as I said before about your sizing, I think photograph sizes are the perfect size for what we're doing, the sort of collage that we're doing. But that doesn't mean to say you could fiddle with the sizes if you wanted to fit it in a certain size, but this is a nice size. If we think about like an let me think. So an A6 card, which is your standard. So this is one of my greetings cards. So that's an A5 folded in half. and she fits on there perfectly. So you kind of get in the right size as well, because photographs, cards, they're all around the same sort of dimensions, so they tend to work quite nicely. So the other really exciting thing that I've got to show you, which I've never used before, is record sleeves. So you know that I'm big on recycling and reusing old things that are free or very, very cheap. Records in charity shops are insanely cheap if you buy really rubbish records. And I've used the records before in the past for workshops. You can turn records into clocks quite easily. Maybe I'll have to do a clock session with you. But yeah, you can buy records very, very cheaply, and they have the possibilities are endless. You've got the record itself, which you can do things with. I'm sure you've all seen the thing where you put it in the oven and put something on top of it and then it melts and you can make it into a bowl, that sort of thing. The sleeves themselves, the cardboard sleeves, I use those for sort of backers for prints that I'm selling, but you can use those for collage, just cardboard in general. But I just never realised until I sort of was sifting through my recycled paper that these sleeves are gorgeous. They've got this lovely sort of discoloured quality about them. Some of them will have writing on them. I love that they have a circle in the middle because we can use that to our advantage. So I think this is a recycling win for me. The inside sleeve of a record makes perfect collaging material. You'll see in the example here that I have used another sleeve, and you can see this circle, and then I've just added some pink background to it. So we're going to do that again today because I think it's fantastic. What have we got here? I think what I might do is I'm going to use the other side of the one that I did. And the reason I really love this one is because it's a record that was obviously bought in Leicester, which is where I am now. So it's kind of got that kind of local element to it, which also ties in with the idea of buying photographs from an antique shop. Is like, they might be local people, they might be ancestors of yours, which I find quite exciting, or maybe spooky, I'm not sure. So we're going to use part of this sleeve. And I think what we're probably going to do is just cut a quarter out of it. I think maybe we're going to make sure that we get that Leicester bit in there, just because it's local to me. And you can use the writing to cut in a straight line if you're worried about straight lines. And I mean, it's a bit ripped here, but we can tape that up on the back. Where is my tape? Here's my tape. Let's tape that up now, just so that's done. You'll notice I made a start on one here. I didn't finish it. We'll finish this one though. So we've got this is like our first part of canvas. So now we're going to create a bit more space for her to sit in, and we might consider where she wants to go. I mean, my instinct is that she's going to sit within this circle, right? And then we can maybe do something with this circle. Maybe it looks like a bit like a halo, something like that maybe. So this is why I think using recycled materials is really great, because it kind of creates the art for you. It does all the work for you. If you're using things with interesting shapes and writing on, you can use those as reference points for where things are going to go and where things are going to sit and how things are going to look. So it just does it all for you. So she's going to sit here, I think. And then what I've got is, again, a selection of sort of scrap paper. I got one of these. I thought this might be quite fun to use. So this is like a paper sweetie bag. And because it's stripy, I quite like that. I think that could work quite nicely. I'm going to, though, I think what we're going to do is we're going to use this black card. So this black card has got these punch marks in them where I went wrong. So anything with kind of like your holes or your lines, things like that, anything with a bit of texture is going to work really nicely. And now we might think about where that's going to sit. So I think this one's going to sit on top of it for sure. And then we can maybe see where she goes. So we need to make that a bit longer, so she's got a bit more space. Do we go all the way along like that? Or do we want more than one element? Do we want to put this horizontally and then maybe put something else in underneath? I have got some more pink paper. So again, think about your colour your colour choices. What colours are we going for today? So I'm again going with pinks and reds. So that ties in nicely. So that looks quite nice. That works well. If she was to sit down here, maybe. I like the punched edge though, so I'm just wondering how I can make that work. And it's just a sort of game of Tetris really, until you're happy with your result. I'm going to take this pink bit out. I'm going to pop this white bit in, see what happens. The only problem with that is then we can't see much of her. So maybe we swap that round. Just until we're happy with the kind of framing of it all. That's looking nice. I think that probably works the best, doesn't it? And then what we could maybe do is pop this pink bit underneath like that. Just so you've got kind of like a rectangle, but it's got all these edges, which I quite like. I think that kind of makes it more interesting. And even though, so you can see with this finished one that you've got these edges here, you've got ripped edges and it's not completely straight. But the joy of that is you could then mount this onto a larger piece of card that is straight so that it's ready to be framed. And then it doesn't really matter that you've got all these odds and ends. I think that kind of adds to it. I think I'm happy with that placement there. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to very carefully flip it over. Try not to move it too much. There you go. And I'm not mucking about. We don't need to use you know, fancy glue or anything like that. Today I'm just using brown masking tape to tape it all down. If I need to use a bit of glue to sort of glue any bits in place afterwards, then I can do that. I'm not even using fancy glue today. I'm just going to use Pritt stick because I want this to be a super easy thing to make. Okay, there we go, looking good. And then our lovely girl's going to sit here, I think. Maybe she could go underneath the circle ever so slightly. Yeah. Okay, looking good. So I'm now going to get my Pritt stick and I'm going to stick her down because she's going to be our focal point. She's the center point. The photograph is the main event. And then we're just creating patterns around it. Really easy patterns. And then we're making an old photo that was otherwise going to apparently be thrown in the bin into a beautiful piece of art. Okay, so there she's going to sit ever so slightly underneath that. Just straighten her up a bit. And then make sure that's all flattened down nicely. I've got a little cheeky bit here on the corner that I need to put some more glue on. There we go. Happy with that. Lovely. And I mean, even that by itself looks quite interesting. It's different, isn't it? It's a bit different. I'm going to use a couple of bits of masking tape to tape these bits down here. And I'm not going to worry about the fact that I've ripped them. I think that makes it more interesting, makes it part of it. And then I might do the same up here. I don't want to cover that Leicester bit up though, do I? There we go. Oh yeah, perfect. So now we've got our base, we've got our canvas, we can start decorating and we can start thinking about what we're going to do to make this picture extra special. So I'm going to show you a few sort of tried and tested patterns that I do that anyone can do, super easy. But also you can think about how we're going to collage it. So I've got some stickers here. So I've got some heart stickers and I've got some circular stickers. And these are not super expensive ones. They're just like standard rolls of stickers that you can get off the internet. What's that app called? Is it called Temu, where you get really cheap stuff? That's great. That sort of thing. Great for crafts. We're going to have to think about where we're going to put some of this sweetie wrapper, aren't we? Let's do that first, so we've got a bit more of a base. And what we'll try doing is just ripping a bit off. See what size it is, and then kind of consider where we might put it. I mean, I feel like it's screaming out to go along this edge, or maybe overlapping here. That's quite nice, isn't it? Yeah, I like that. Let's go with that. So let's stick our stripy bit down. And again, you can do this with any kind of recycled paper. You can do this with magazine cutouts, old books. You know I like an old book or old sheet music from a charity shop. If you've seen my sessions before, you're probably thinking, when's Rosie going to get her old Vanity Fair book out and rip a page out of it? I'm not going to do it today. I'm not going to use an old book page. Can you believe it? I mean, I am considering it now. So we're going to stick that on there like that. Do we want any more of the stripes? Maybe over here somewhere would look quite good. So for this one, I'm wondering if we sort of actually cut it really neatly. If we cut along the stripe here, is that going to fit quite nicely? Oh, I mean, that fits perfectly, doesn't it? If we just rip that edge off there, what do you think? Yeah, sold. Okay. Now we're going to stick that on there. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, happy with that. And I guess the last thing we might do is just consider whether we want any stickers before we start decorating. Although saying that, I think I've probably put this sticker on afterwards. So maybe we'll try. I'm just wondering if there's anywhere for one of these bigger stickers to go, because it's pink. I feel like it's necessary. So it could go in a corner. That could work quite nicely, couldn't it? Or it could go up here somewhere. I think we're going to put it up here. I've just noticed the phone number is 5 numbers long. And now what are they? Are they 11 numbers long? My goodness. Okay, there we go. Let's pop it on there. Fab, because then, this is the other good thing about stickers. You're sticking a shape down, you've not had to do any work, but then you're creating another space that you can decorate on top of. We can think about sun rays, doing things on top of it, around it. Again, it just gives us different shapes to work from. Okay, I think we're ready to start doing some decorating. So for me, the first port of call is, I think with any photograph of a person, if we're collaging like this, my instinct is to have something coming from their heart. And that's where we work from. I just really love this idea that you're sort of expanding on this person. So I'm going to do a little heart on her and then have lots of lovely patterns coming from her. But we also want some block colours and some shapes around it. So let's think. I think the first thing that I'm going to do is I want to just get some colour on there so it feels less scary. So I'm going to get one of the pencils. So I've got like a pink pencil here, and I'm just going to start sort of colouring some areas in, and I'm just filling space here. And again, it's just to sort of make a start, nothing too scary. And it's just adding a bit of something. And then I think I'm going to go in with another pencil, maybe do something around here, maybe a darker one like a purple. And I might just do some sort of spirals going along here. That works quite nicely. I might go all the way along. And when I do this sort of thing, I'm always just thinking, what space hasn't been filled yet? Which bits haven't I thought about? Which bit needs another mark on? And we're just building it up really as much as we possibly can. I'm going to go all the way along here. Okay. And then I might, at this point, I'm going to go in with a little bit of blue. And I'm just going to, I think we're going to colour some of this bit in here. Now this is like a sort of chalk marker pen. I think the key really is to get yourself a really nice selection of pens and pencils, like lots of different types of pens. You want all your odds and ends. You know that pot that you've all got that's got like a load of random pens and pencils in. In fact, I can show you one of mine here, look. Just random bits and bobs. That's the sort of pen pot you need, because it's got It's probably got a biro in it, a gel pen, a marker pen, you know, a few pencils. It's all the whole range. That's what you want. And then maybe we'll do some little lines along here. Okay, so now I've just done a little bit of mark making. We're going to start working on her and all the beautiful things that are going to come from her. So we're going to start with a little heart. I'm going to start with a black sort of marker pen. Make sure you can see this, and I'm just going to zoom in ever so slightly now. Now we're going into the detail. So I'm going to do a little heart here. And maybe give it a bit of pattern. And you could do whatever you wanted with this. But it's just sort of just giving it a bit of something. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some lovely like leaves sort of sprouting out from that heart. However, we need to consider that this is black. So I'm going to do the first one black coming this way. So that's going to come out around like this. And I'm just going to do a wavy line, and it's going to come all the way up to the top here. And then I'm going to just draw some really dainty leaves on it. And they're all going to come around all the way down. And even if it's sort of like the pen's running out, I think that kind of gives it a little bit of something, because it's kind of, because we're using sort of old materials, and it's also cut and paste and ripped, it gives that idea that it's old. Like the picture we're making itself is somehow antique, which I quite like. And then I think we'll maybe could sort of add some of these leaves. We could colour some of them in, but then leave some of them completely blank. Beautiful. And then what we might do is come out with a different colour, because we've got this black here. So we want a nice bright pink. So I'm going to go in with like a paint pen, so like a Posca pen. You could do this with paint if you wanted. If you wanted to use a paintbrush, you're obviously very welcome to. So this is going to come out here. And we're going to do the leaves again. And these sort of paint markers are really good because they'll go over any kind of material. Beautiful. Again, we might colour some of those in, but not all of them. And then what else do we want? Feeling like we need a darker colour, maybe like a red. And maybe this one will just come out ever so slightly so it stays on the dress. Lovely. Okay. Now I'm feeling like, because this is quite light, because I took a photo of it and printed it, it's quite a lot lighter than the original. So if I'd have used the original, it's got a lot more darkness in it. So I feel like, because these sort of areas are very sort of whitewashed, we perhaps need to do something with her dress and give it a bit of detail. So I'm really conscious of that. So I'm going to go in with, what's she going to do next? It feels like, I don't know. Okay, I'm going to go with this orange pencil to begin with. And what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to sort of draw some lines that sort of go round her dress or down from her dress, almost like creating a stripe sort of effect on her dress. And then what I might do Now I've got a sort of frame point. I've got this lovely neon pink gel pen. So I love gel pens because they're super, super cheap and you get loads of colours. So I'm just going to colour her heart in here. But they are quite temperamental, I find. Like you'll have a brand new one and then it'll just not work. So I'm always conscious with gel pens that, you know, you have to give them a bit of space. See, look, it stopped working there for no apparent reason. So if you are using gel pens, just remember, they do this to the best of us. So I'm just sort of following the first line that I did with the pencil, just to see what happens. Beautiful. Oh, so we've sort of created a lovely pattern on her skirt now. What else do we need? I really like this gel pen though, so I'm feeling like maybe we'll start thinking about adding. I want to do some sort of clouds almost coming off this, almost as if it's like the sun or the moon. So I want to sort of do some shapes coming off it. And that gel pen is not working very well at all. That's fine, we can use a different one. What else have we got? So I've got a bright pink Sharpie here, which we could do some shapes on. So I'm just doing basically sort of doing some wiggly lines, just to give the illusion that they're sort of like clouds hiding the moon or something like that. And while we've got this Sharpie, I'm thinking we could probably use it for some other stuff. So what else do we want? We definitely want some more wiggly lines, I think. So let's do it coming off this lovely circle actually. So I'm just going to do wiggly lines around the circle. I think this is a really good cheat for patterns. Is just find the edge of a shape and then do a selection of wiggly lines around it. And it just gives this lovely kind of sunshine ray effects, which I really like. Oh, I think we should give her some, I think we need to give her some little cute little cheeks, some little pink cheeks. I think that works really nicely. And then I feel like maybe we could do something with her hair because she's got like kind of big scrunchy type thing in. I'm wondering if we could do something with that. I might try and colour it in with pink. So again, I've got this sort of pink chalk pen. I colour it in and then maybe we could do something with that. It still feels like there's something we could do. I know what I'd like to do. I'm going to go in with the red now. So one of the things I really like doing is like map marks. So I've done this a lot in my collages where you're just doing a series of dotted lines, but because you're doing it amongst a collage, it gives this kind of map-like effect. And I just think it's really effective. And what I love about it is it's super easy. You're just doing loads of little dots. So we'll do that now. So we're going to start. Maybe we'll work all the way around so it can kind of come, maybe it comes from the book that she's holding. And we go, just check that my camera's picking up the whole canvas. And if you do it in a sort of wiggly line, it just has this lovely feeling about it, like it's supposed to mean something. And I mean, maybe it could mean something. It's like the journey she's going on, or, you know, that sort of thing. But it's just a really easy technique. And now I think we'll do some more on this side as well. So it can then come out here. And then go round in a wiggly line. Back out that side. There you go. So there's another pattern that's sort of added to it. I think we need to use some more of the black marker to do some more lines. So I'm thinking around here, we need to do some writing, don't we? Do we want to do some writing? Well, I'm thinking, I think some writing along here would be nice, wouldn't it? Some sort of decorative writing. So then this space has still got lots of scope for kind of patterns. I think maybe we're going to go in with a sticker now. Let's go in with a heart sticker. So we're going to go in with a nice bright red. And let's think. I think maybe somewhere up here. Yeah, there we go. And then we can go in with our black marker again. And we need to do some more patterns, don't we? Let's do some more leaves. So we're going to come out here. I'm going to do that lovely leaf effect again. That's going to go all the way to the bottom. Lovely. And we might colour some of those in. Might leave some of them blank. Put the lines through some of them. Lovely. Okay, very nice. Now, what other patterns do we want? Oh, I'd like to do a big kind of something big and whooshy here, I think. What colour are we going to use? I wonder if that could be black. Oh, I haven't used any highlighters yet. So this is how my brain works. It goes, oh, maybe some of this. What about some of this? Maybe some of this. So I'm just going to get the pink highlighter. So it's just a pink highlighter here. See what happens. I quite like finding out what effect it has on different types of paper. Yeah, that's quite nice, isn't it? I'll do some more of that. So I might go all the way up there. Why not? So that's gone all the way up there. Do we want to highlight any more of her dress, I wonder? Or her veil? It feels like I'm very close to colouring her skirt in, but I think what I'm going to do is I might go back in with that pencil because it's a bit lighter, this sort of lighter orange, and just sort of shade some of it. And essentially I'm just going to scribble. And I'm not going to pay too much attention to it. I don't want it to look neat. I want it to look kind of scribbly. Oh, I'm going to have to move my camera up slightly because my pencil keeps knocking the camera as I'm scribbling. I'm going to go all the way up there. Ah, bash the camera again. It's because I'm left-handed, you see. That's the problem. Okay, yeah, that definitely makes it stand out a bit more. And then I think we'll go in again with like maybe one of our markers that we know will show up on black. And we can maybe do, I'm going to do like a series of circles, I think. So again, these are just patterns that anyone can do. They don't have to be fancy. You don't have to be good at art. We're just making really simple marks. And from doing that, getting this super effective collage. I'm going to colour some of those circles in. But not all of them, because apparently this pen's running out. And maybe we'll try. I've got a bright paint pen here, nice bright pink. So we could have some more patterns coming out of there. So we're doing like lines, wiggly lines, straight lines, circles, leaves, spirals, dots. That's it. That's all we're doing. Really, really simple. It looks super effective. Okay, that's looking good. Now I'm feeling like we need something here. So I know we're going to have the writing coming along here. I think that'll probably be the last thing that I do. So I'm thinking something around here might be quite nice. I think I'm going to go in with a nice thick spiral. I'm going to use the red again. So I'm going to start in this circle here so I can see it. And I'm just going to go like round once or twice. And then I'm going to go over that and make it nice and thick. A nice thick line. So these are all patterns that you can copy. that are really easy to do. Okay, go around there. Very nice. Just fill those little gaps in there. Oh yeah, fantastic. And the only other thing that I'd like to do is some more foliage. I think we can do some foliage down here. And I think we've probably got a space for something here as well. So I think I might use this blue pen now, because we've got lots of pinks and reds down here already. And I'm going to create like a little field of flowers. Really easy, really simple. Some of them might be circles. Some of them might be, oh, we could have little leaves on the circular ones. Circular ones there. And then another leafy one here. What else? What else? Circular one here. Oh, very nice. That's great. Happy with that. Do I want maybe, I feel like I just want one more here. And maybe one more here. That blue looks great against the sort of pink stripes, isn't it? Happy with that. And bearing that in mind, it makes me feel like we should add some blue over here. So I'm going to just switch it that way. Just think about what we could do here. Again, maybe just some lines, or create some kind of pattern. Or what we could do is I'm just going to create a big shape here and then colour it in. Again, quite scribbly on purpose. You still see those lines shining through. You're just creating that shape there. And then I'm wondering if we do some kind of lines coming off it. And if so, what colour? We want a nice dark pink, I think. So I'm going to go back in with my pink Sharpie. For this one, again, really simple. I'm just going to go around the edge with a series of lines. And we're just building up, really, aren't we? We're building up. So that's looking beautiful. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so we just want something here. And maybe one more thing down here. And I think they could be really, really simple. So I think we'll go black here, so it's nice and dark. And I'm going to do one of these spirals again, because they're really easy. And I just think they look great. And they're really fun to do. Great. And then the last thing we want to do is going to be around here. Again, maybe some foliage. Oh, maybe some like shooting stars or something would look quite nice. Yeah, let's do that. So again, I'm going to get my pink marker. And I'm going to do a circle here. And then I'm going to just do sort of like a zigzaggy effect. Like that, to make like a shooting star. And then maybe some sort of little stars around it. Because now we're creating a scene, aren't we? We've kind of got our sky, and then we've got a ground, and then we've got her in the middle with all this beautiful stuff coming out of her. I'm going to just see if the gel pen will work on here again to do some more stars with a thinner. So this is a thinner pen, so it might work a bit better for thin lines. And I think the last thing I want to do, I do want to do just one more thing on her. I kind of want to see a bit more foliage, and I'm going to try and make this gel pen work. They are super temperamental. Maybe some wiggly lines. Look nice. The hardest part about this session, the hardest part is knowing when to stop. That's the problem I have anyway. Okay, nearly there. Oh yeah, this is looking good. So we've just done a bit more detail on her. So we've got those wiggly lines coming out. Great. Sorry for the wobbly camera. Keep wobbling it, don't I? Fab. I'm just checking if there's anything else that I want to show you before we add the writing. I'm quite happy with that. Okay, so the last thing that we're going to do is we're going to add the writing. Now, I teach calligraphy quite often, so I'm quite a dab hand at fancy writing. One of the very first sessions I did for the Virtual Village Hall was a modern calligraphy session. And I believe it's still available for you to watch in the archives in the arts and crafts section. So if you do want to learn modern calligraphy, I have got a session. My name's Rosie Johnson, and it should be in the art archive. I believe I called it modern calligraphy, and it requires a brush pen like this to practice. So yeah, if you're sort of like working alongside me or sort of going to have a go at this, and then I do the fancy writing, you go, well, how do I do that bit? Already got you covered. I've already done a session on it. You can watch that and become fabulous calligraphers at the same time. So we're going to write something along here. Something, I mean, it could be anything. So if this is going to be personalized or it's going to be a birthday card, you can write happy birthday or whatever. But I quite like the idea of song lyrics and quotes and things like that. I think maybe something here could be quite generic, like maybe something like what a wonderful world or something like that. So I'm going to start here and I'm going to work my way across. Make sure you can see what I'm doing. And you don't have to do calligraphy writing at all. You could do any kind of writing you like. You could even cut words out of magazines if you don't feel confident writing. Because this is collage and we're adding loads and loads of layers, you could find the words in other places and cut them out. You don't need to write it yourself if you don't want. Okay, so now I'm going to try and make sure I get the word wonderful. Yeah, that's going to work, isn't it? I didn't want to go off the edge of her dress and then not be able to see the writing in the black. Okay, wonderful. And then we'll put world, and we'll do world on a bit of a jaunty angle, just to give it a bit, again, because there's lots of things going in different directions. So do you want it to go in that direction or this direction? I think this direction. There we go. And then we could even do, if we wanted to, we could have some patterns coming off the writing itself, because why not? We can have some little hearts. And in fact, I'm feeling like maybe we could put some little hearts in here as well. Just adding to the white bit. And going over here maybe. Again, I said towards the beginning that we're just filling gaps. And you can probably tell, that's what I'm doing now. Still filling gaps, still finding places to draw extra bits on. Okay, so we've got the hearts there. Okay, I think we're about there, guys. I think we've done it. So let's recap everything. First of all, I'm very pleased with this. I think it looks lovely. And I think mounted onto, I mean, the other thing you could think about is if you are going to mount it onto something, you might mount it onto a contrasting colour. So this would probably look really nice on a nice white piece of card. Or maybe even black actually would still work because you've still got these bits around here. But really it's just about filling gaps, making shapes, or using the shapes you've already got. That's why this is really easy, because you're creating the shapes with your cutouts and then adding to it. and it's just a series of really, really simple patterns. You've got leaves, hearts, stars, dotted lines, spirals, lines, circles, big spirals, wavy lines, and then just areas where you've just coloured them in or scribbled with other colours. And it's just building all of that up until you're happy with the amount that you've filled. With me, I'm never happy. I would fill more. But you've created something really unique, really simply, and using sort of lots of recycled materials. I think it's just a really nice way to create and have a go at. And it doesn't require any skill at all, I think. I think it's just really, really good fun. As I said before with the photographs, if you do find sort of actual photographs in a shoebox in an antique shop fairly cheaply and you want to use those, fantastic, please do that. And obviously if you're happy to cut them up, then go ahead. All I would say is if you are using a proper photograph and cutting that out, you might want to stick that down with something a bit hardier than Pritt stick. You might want to use some PVA glue to stick it down and then hold it down with a heavy book, and leave that heavy book there for a while till it's dry, because otherwise, as you'll see with this photograph already, is that it's kind of curving at the sides, and that's what it will naturally want to do. So if you're using a real life photo, it's much thicker and it's going to need a bit more sticking down, so just bear that in mind. But if you are just taking pictures and then printing them out, then you can cut it out with a normal pair of scissors and stick it down with Pritt stick quite easily. And the same goes for everything else as well. You don't need to use fancy glue unless it's very, very thick. And for the kind of actual base itself, I have just used brown masking tape to stick it all down. Let's just pull this up ever so slightly so you can see our finished products. And yeah, please let me know if you do decide to use some old record sheets to create your work, because I thought I was ingenious. I'm very pleased. I love these sort of circular edges you get. And you also get this fun writing on it as well. So that's it. I think we're finished. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed yourselves. I hope you're all going to have a go at this kind of really fun collage with old photographs. If you do find any old photographs from old shops, please let me know, because I'm really into that sort of thing. I'd love to know who these people are. Can you imagine if you're doing it and then someone saw it and said, oh, that's my great grandma? I just, yeah, love it. I have been Rosie. My business is called Rosie and Ramona. I will be back again very soon with another craft session. I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet. I've got a few ideas up my sleeve, as I usually do, but I will be back very soon. And I hope you'll have a very crafty and collagey weekend. Enjoy. Thank you so much, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.